Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, so I could have sworn that this was supposed to be canceled, or like put on hold or something like that. To like they were going to be stepping back, but apparently Microsoft is making their own handheld, except for it's actually the Asus ROG Ally and Ally X, um, and nothing's different. It's just going to be running a modified version of Windows 11 that they allowed them to remove the desktop from. Okay. I mean, if that's the way you wanna do it, real talk, I don't mind. Even though I am somebody that loves operating inside of Linux, I as much as I hate Kden Live, this video is gonna be edited inside of Kden Live, so I can learn how to function better inside of it and remove one more layer of the Microsoft Windows environment that I rely on for certain things. I can't do much about Fortnite, Tim Sweeney. Please. Come on, man. It's not that hard. You already make it for Android, which is Linux. Anyways, that's irrelevant. What it comes down to, at least for me, is this one concept. It feels like it's kind of been half phoned in. Sure, they're making a modified version of Windows 11, but it's still the NT kernel. It's still all of the other underlying issues that exist inside of the Microsoft environment. It still has Copilot likely embedded in it, so it can grab whatever information they are willing to sell. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know for sure. We won't know until sometime in December. And I would love to be proven wrong that it's not going to be a complete crapshoot. Microsoft's never going to send me one to test. I'd happily hit me up, guys. My email's in the is in my channel about page. Hit me up and let me know. I'll sign your NDA and play with it, you know, however you want. I'll play nice, but I it's more of like a press F to doubt kind of situation. And then there's the other question. Is this going to be something similar to like an OSU, or is this going to be an ISO that could be installed theoretically on my Steam Deck if I wanted to play with it and see how well it functions? I tried using the Microsoft Windows 11 environment similar to how the ROG Ally and the Legion Go function right now, but with the Steam drivers or the Valve provided drivers for Steam Deck, and it was a nightmare to say the least. For a system that should know what a Steam controller looks like for the handheld, it surprisingly lacked the drivers needed to recognize it as a handheld. Sounds like something that maybe Microsoft might want to try and optimize for if you really think about it. Now, some people might disagree with my opinion on this, but it's mine, so it's just as shitty as what I can make it. But it sounds like a situation where, like, hey, Microsoft might have wanted to invest in providing proper drivers and modifications and an environment for someone trying out the Steam Deck, because that gets them into a situation where that same person could also then be interested in doing something like buying the Xbox Game Pass. But they didn't. And it was just, it was completely horrible. I spent days trying to go over the drivers and people's custom built Git pages to find software that's been deprecated and doesn't function, because realistically no one's going to want to use it. Now, I understand there is significant, there's good reason for that, because the Steam hardware has been fine-tuned for operating inside of their Linux environment. But I mean, giving it a shot, just a thought. It's just a thought. I do not judge anyone that wants to use a Microsoft Windows system or a Linux-based system. If your big thing is to go off and tell me, hey, David, I just like using the Windows environment, I'm comfortable with that, that is fine. I'm here to share my experience and show the people that want to do what I am doing that there's an option, there's a path, and it's not as hard as what it sounds like it is. Fully being open that there are things that I'm required, to still use Microsoft Windows for. I'd love to get a second computer set up so that this way I can have my normal system and then just have a computer. I get it, first world problem, but a computer that I can play Fortnite with the wife. That's my end goal. Something that I can still play Fortnite with the wife, but then everything else that doesn't require it, I'm inside of my Linux environment. I spend 99.9% of my time in Linux, and I'm filing it down even further and further and further. So I'm not the target audience for these people. But at the end of the day, what I see is the exact same hardware that the guy that sits behind me and does his content creation uses every day, but with a Xbox badge added to it. An Xbox badge that, and I don't want to harp on them too much, but they don't even know if you can remap it so that this way the other button on the ROG Ally doesn't do the exact same thing that it does on the Xbox Ally. There's a lot of questions, and I'm never going to get the answers to them because realistically, I'm not the target customer, nor do I have the funds or would want to spend my money if I had the ability to on that hardware. I'm doing this because realistically, there's right there. I'm going to put it right there. That comment, it sounded like a great idea. But as I was underneath a semi trying to figure out what was going on with it, I realized I don't have much to say, even though I thought maybe I would have something to say. Aside from, these are some questions that I have. Probably never going to get the answers to it, but maybe you hadn't considered these questions. It's the same question. It's the same thing because it's the exact same hardware, just with a fancy badge and a upgraded ISO. Is it going to be an OSU or is it going to be an ISO, an upgraded operating system? Are the 2 gigs of RAM really going to be that much more useful that they were able to free up because they were given permission to modify Windows? I don't know, because we're still running off of the same kernel. We're still running off of the same architecture. And I'd like to know. What are your thoughts? Go ahead and leave them down in the comments down below. Let's have a conversation, a civil conversation. But let's have a conversation about it. What are your thoughts? What are your hopes? Are you interested in getting it? Would you report back to me what you find so this way I could, collaborate with you in some way on it? I don't know. I got nothing. We'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be afraid to dive onto the. I need some more coffee.